Hey guys, and welcome for another episode of Rate That Full Art Supporter. And today we're having a really nice one, at least I think, but well, it's actually up to what you guys think. But who do we have today? We have no other than Colress for you. So this one is particularly interesting and is still among some of the first supporters, or full art supporters to be specific, because supporters is quite an old thing since Expedition, I believe. But you know what? Before we get into all the cool stuff, let's see what Colress actually does, right? Shall we? So, let's first look into what can Colress actually do for you should you play him as a supporter in your deck, or when he was legal in standard, say. You shuffle your hand into your deck, then you draw a number of cards equal to number of basic Pokemon, benched Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. And that is really interesting because that can potentially be a lot of cards. Just think about a standard setup in a game. You can max have 5 bench Pokemon, so Colress for 10. That's already really nice shuffle draw. However, with stadiums such as Skyfield being a thing in the past, or even suppose it could be legal today to play Colress in your standard deck, you can play him with Eternatus. You can still play an Expanded, of course. Then if you have an Eternatus Mirror match, you can still Colress for 16. And even if you play Colress yourself, you can still at least Colress for 8 with your own bench, which makes for very strong supporters. So I have pretty high hopes that maybe Colress can actually beat N in terms of, what you guys think. So remember, this is not my opinion. This is your opinion, guys. So if you want to have something different on the board here, well, it's up to you to rate this supporter. So before we get into it, let's take a look at Colress around the world, shall we? Because as we see here, Colress, as expected, would have a lot of different names. And a lot of things goes to Acromas, Acroma, Acromo, Acromio. And then we have France. What are you guys up to? Nikolai. I guess you just want to be different. Maybe any French-speaking people out there could explain to me, why is he called Nikolai in French when everybody else sticks to Colress or a variation of Acromo and whatnot that kind of relates still to, colorless, which Colress derives from. Well, with that said, let's get into what you guys think about Colress in Standard. So remember, this is at the time where Colress was available in Standard, so how good did you guys think? Remember, the scale goes from 1 to 5, 1 being bad, 5 being great. And you can already see here, with an average of 4.27, most of the respondents here found Colress to be a solid 5, so a great supporter card, which nothing less than I personally expected. So average of 4.27, he is up to a good start. And this comes up now when Expanded comes in, and here we see a similar picture, although 4.13, very solid still. Still the majority going for 5, or majority, the highest frequency goes at 5, so people really think Colress is good, even in Expanded. And that could very much have something to do with Mega Rayquaza decks, or if you want to play in turns Expanded, something that can increase your bench size such that Colress becomes even stronger. The dream of Colress for 16. Damn. But okay, what about Uniqueness? And this is the most interesting picture I've seen in a long time. The whole spectrum is represented, and it's all over the place, to be honest. Still the most people think this card is rather unique. And of course, when you think about the way it functions when it counts bench Pokemon and determine its shuffle and draw, shuffle is always determined, but the draw power, then sure, it's rather unique. But some might have thought, shuffle draw, that ain't that unique. We see that in Cynthia, Professor Oak's New Theory, and Professor Oak's Research, so on, right? But it really depends on how you interpret this. That's why I like the uniqueness category so much, because it really gets some different opinions out of people here. But of course, all put together, it's still a very good average of 3.67, which is very strong still. So he's still holding it up, I would say. So you know what? Let's finish it off with artwork. And here, yet again, we see that most people, in this case the majority, goes for a 5, so a great artwork, landing at a solid 4.47. This is gonna be a real contender to N, I believe. But you know what? Before we put him into scale, together with N, and the others of course, let's put them all together and see what average we actually land up at. So I can already kind of guess this is gonna be above 4. And indeed, it's a 4.13, so you know what? I can't wait any longer. So let's try and put that 4.13 into the scale with the rest. So who's gonna come up on top? Well, if you had some memory from the other episodes, then you would know, 4.13 is good, but it's still not enough to beat N. It comes close though, so now Colress would take a solid second place with a 4.13, of course, just below N. Skylar would then rate as third, and now we pushed poor Sharon out of the top 4 here, leaving Bianca in fourth place with a 2.7. So this was what we had now for episode 5. It's going to be interesting when we get more supporters in there to simply see, how's this top 4 going to be and where is our new supporters going to place themselves. We have so many coming in with also just the recent release of the new set, Vivid Voltage, which introduces a lot of supporters. So this is going to be interesting. But before we round off today's episode, we have all the bonus facts that you guys sent in. So now, what do you guys think about Colress in terms of bonus facts? I didn't know he appeared in Sun and Moon 2. I had to check that up. And of course, this is a fun one. I worked to bring out the true potential of Pokemon's strength and then fun, because a typical Winter Detective relied on a lot of combinations, like Rayquaza EX. Putting all these together, and I don't know if you guys remember, there was a World's Finals where a poor player was, I would say, forced, but he decided, forced, it was necessary, I believe, to Colress for 1 during the World's Finals. You can find that game back. It's a really fun game to watch. It was a Rishion Genesect deck, I believe, but you know what? Fill me in on the details in the comments below. And of course, who can forget Colress for 16 with Skyfield? That, wow, dream. And you know what? That rounds off today, but before we really say goodbye for today, we have to introduce who's up next. So who's going to be the one for episode number 6? And here we got Jetsis, one of the supporters that actually received a ban. So this is going to be interesting to see. The first one is actually banned on our list. Well, banned. Let's see why it was banned in the next episode, shall we? Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Help me immensely building this channel. I appreciate you watching this episode. And you know what? Until next time, and if you want to hear your voice, your opinion, then don't forget to fill out the survey below, trying to help me rate Jetsis. With that said, until next time.